Welcome back, everybody. Here's a nice little seamless transition. It's kind of inspired off of Harry Potter. It has nothing to do with Harry Potter, this particular transition tutorial, but that's where the inspiration drew from. Kind of get into it in a little bit here, but I just want to kind of quickly tell you guys that this tutorial is not going to be like super smooth and perfect. Like, oh, you add this node and this goes all smooth and perfect. There's bumps and stuff in this tutorial. There's issues that arise, and I do not cut those issues out. I really wanted to just kind of show you guys kind of how the troubleshooting process goes while you're building out a new idea, a new transition, a new thought. All right, today we're going to create a little Harry Potter through the glass transition. The reason I call it Harry Potter, because, you know, I was actually just watching the movies and saw this cool transition of the camera going through this window. I was like, dude, that's a pretty cool transition in this stuff. So I thought I would rebuild it in a kind of different way, but that was the original inspiration. Okay, so let's get started. Yeah. I'm going to jump on into here. And for you to kind of build the same kind of a thing, you know, I would recommend kind of getting these kind of elements. So my first thing is I'll just quickly walk through this tree here, and then what we're going to do is build this cell phone and the transition element. So the first thing is just building the background, and then I've got this, you know, texture just kind of building in this background. If I kind of back it on up here, we can actually see that. There we go. Next element is just the text element. And then these next elements is just the building cut up. So that building or those buildings, just, you know, it's just an element out of Photoshop. They just cut in different sections. So I can have a Z depth element and some movement there. This next element here is just the actual cell phone and its comping. So we have the comp image that's in the cell phone. We have the girl. She's another element to it. We have the hand, which is just that. So this hand is something I got off of Getty, and I just brought it in the Photoshop and cut out and made that transparent and saved it as a PNG. Then that's all comped together. Then we created this nice transition element, and we are going to go over that right now. But the rest of this tree is the camera move on it. So I got the camera and then a couple of 3D transforms to do that move. Here's my render out. I normally have this rendering, the lighting, the shadows, and motion blur, but I cannot have all that stuff on while I'm trying to do a tutorial because the computer just doesn't like that. So we're going to not have that stuff on. And then this is just having a nice little vignette effect and stuff. If you want to learn how to build this little vignette, I've got a tutorial right up here. Just check that out. Yeah, go check that out. Okay, so let's jump on into this. So this is going to be our starting plate. We are just going to have the background elements. We got those text elements there, and then the city and stuff, city elements. So so we have like a little starting ground. If you're following along with this, just go ahead and load in like, you know, a background and some other elements, just so we have like some 3D and stuff. To be able to load in those elements, you'll just need to connect them on up to a little image node here, and then offset them in their Z space, just so we can get some camera movement on that stuff. That's the only thing you need to do. Get like 1, 2, 3 elements on into there. It can be people, trees, whatever. Find something on internet. If you go to like Google, you know, PNG trees, you can load those on. It's going to be all cut out and basically the same thing. Or PNG buildings or something. Probably be able to find something very similar to this. So let's get started. We're going to comp together this phone first. So let's go ahead and load in the phone. I'm going to bring up a loader. Okay, so I load in that hand. Let's go ahead and make in the background of that. So I'm going to grab my background from here and this grunge thing. So I'm just going to actually move this stuff out of the way. Grab this. Copy that. So clunky. Paste that on in. Image plane and load that on in. Okay, so all this is that background color. It's a gradiated color. Then we got a grunge texture. We're resizing that. We're applying a blur to it, merging those together, bringing them into an image plane, and then merging that into our scene. Now we have that. Let's go ahead and pop on a transform node. And we're going to uncheck this box and just squeeze it on down. Basically to make something that kind of fits into the phone. So we'll just view that. There we go. Let's go ahead and take this little plane. Just kind of plop it on over here just for giggles. There we go. Okay, what's the next element that we need? I'm going to copy this loader. Browse, and let's find that girl that we've had. Hey, there's our girl. Let's go ahead and put a transform on her. Let's go ahead and merge these guys together. There we go. We're just gonna bring her down a bit, kind of get her kind of roughed in a little bit here. Something like that. Something along those lines. Now let's move this cell phone on into place. So right now it's not cutting out, so let's go ahead and remedy that. Let's bring in a little polyline tool here. We're going to pop on a transform right here and plug this on into there. Okay, we're going to zoom on out here. I just took that little transform node off of that. Okay, a little troubleshooting here. So I'm having this issue where this phone is being cut off because it's larger than my screen here. So let's zoom on out of this just a little bit. So let's go down to this resize node. Let's pop that on up to 2000. There we go. And then this. So merge nodes pick up their sizing from the background of their merge. So if I'm just swap these around, now it pulls up the sizing from that resize node of the 2000, and now everything should fall into place. So now everything's falling into place. This phone is no longer cut off and stuff. So let's go ahead and comp this in a little bit better now. This mat here, let's just go ahead and delete that. We're just going to rebuild that. There we go. So that's been cut out quite nicely. Let's go ahead and just stretch this a little bit better. Just to fill up that screen proper like. We can kind of bring it like that. Bring our girl into place a little bit better. Get her centered up there. Let's go ahead and just put in some text. There we go. So I just typed up some New York and the Fashion Week. I'm just copy and pasted. You can pop in whatever you want. The next thing we need to do is create some fast noise. Okay, so we're going to plug in this mat into this merge here. We're going to plug our fast noise into that transform, which gives us this, but the fast noise just isn't big enough. So let's go ahead and go into image, uncheck auto resolution, and let's pipe in 2000 into that. That gets the fast noise looking good. Now let's dial in this fast noise a bit. Go to noise. We want to get it more contrasty. And bring up the brightness. So basically, this noise is just going to be our mat key for the transition. This is pretty much does all the heavy lifting right there. We're going to do the seeth rate. Let's just kind of bring that up a little bit just so we can get some movement. So if we scrub, you can see it moving and giving us some nice texture there. Okay, so that's going to be giving us some nice movement. We comp this on in, we can see it kind of working. Okay, so now we need to determine where our transition is going to be. Let's go ahead and do this right about here. How about on frame 60? We're going to have our fast noise. Oops. We're going to bring it all the way down. So let's go ahead and drop a keyframe on brightness and contrast. And let's have this go like 30 frame transition thereabouts. And we're going to keyframe those. We're going to go back to the first keyframe. We're going to bring our contrast and our brightness all the way down. So there, it's dissolving in. Let's go on into this portrait, this girl. And we're going to have her starting at 60. We're going to increase her size and have her kind of coming down in. So let's go, like way down here and have her resting right there. We're going to make her about that big. Let's go on into spline editor. We're going to Control F, Control A, F, T, and adjust our curves. Turn that back off. So now she's coming in, doing that. Let's go ahead and center her up real quick. There we go. Get that little dot right on our nose. There we go. Centered effect. It's kind of sliding on in. Still a little off, but that works. Let's go ahead and plug this on in so we can see it in place. We're going to go ahead and increase its size. And we're going to want it up in front of everything. So where is everything? It's all falling on the 2. Yeah. So we'll put this up on 3. There we go. Oh, where's the camera falling? Camera's at 3. So let's put this at like 2.5. There we go. Now we can decrease the size. There we go. Let's kind of bring it up so it fills up the screen. So what else is going on here is that New York Fashion Week there is just blurring, dissolving on out too, while this is going to be moving in. So let's kind of walk on through that real quick. So here's that text. We just got that there. We threw a little lens blur onto there just to kind of blur it on out. I'm a big fan of that lens blur, mainly because you can do this, this cool little coloring that kind of tweaks out the lens and shifts colors around the chroma shift and these two sliders here. I don't even know how to even pronounce that. I'm going to go on into this image plane, and then I just, racked the opacity on it to be able to get that on out of there. So let's grab this camera. We're going to do a 3D transform. Whoops. Transform 3D, that guy right there. Okay, so at 60, we're going to have him. Actually, what we're going to do is just kind of have this like little boonk boonk kind of an animation. Boonk boonk. See my thing? Boonk boonk. Okay. So let's go back like 5 frames. And we're going to click on the Z. We're going to go up 5 frames and have it just kind of popping up a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then we're going to go down to 90 and have it zooming out. There we go. So let's see that camera move. So it's coming in and it goes boop boonk. And let's get like just a nice steady camera move just on the whole entire thing. So what we can do is let's drop on another transform 3D. On this one, we're just going to click on the Z here and zoom in a little bit. Something like that. And then go to the very end. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Just so that is just giving us this nice, pushback on the whole entire thing of that. Okay, and that's going to totally screw up my animation here and my placement probably, but we can make a tweak. There we go. Let's adjust our framing of this guy. Something like that. And then that's actually going to be going all the way down. So let's find the resting point of this. So see how his arm is kind of still being cut off. We're just going to increase the size of that. There we go. Okay, so now here's where the fun stuff starts. One fun thing that would actually be kind of cool is this portrait element, this chick. Not having her comped into the actual phone, having her comped outside of the phone. And then, so it looks like she's kind of outside in Z space and then kind of dropping in a little bit more. We could just rework that by taking this on out, putting it into another image plane, and then attaching another polygon and then animating that polygon on in. That's kind of out there. This tutorial is already going long enough, so we'll pass on doing that. But just an idea. Have you guys think about Why don't you try to put that together yourself, see how you would build that. Okay, so now the fun stuff. Let's go ahead and let's think here. When you get some fringing, so let's do a little lens, some lens effects. How about lens distort? We'll do this one. Let's slide that down there. Grab another lens. How about this distort? That one. I'm going to take those off. Kind of shift those. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this little image plane that's controlling this whole bad boy. So that image plane, let's go to frame 60. So we're going to just manually move him on up out of camera. Drop a keyframe. And it's coming down at 90. So at that point, we'll want this back to, at 2.5. That's where we're going. Let's go ahead and smooth out those splines. So F, ease that in and ease that out a little bit. There we go. So that's out of frame, starts coming in, and it dissolves in too. Okay. So this lens distort, this guy here. Let's go ahead and have this park at 60. We're going to animate these colors. Have them come on down. Zero each of those out. There we go. So we're seeing this nice shift in chroma. And that's something that you can totally customize, make your own, make your very own, is you can animate these a little bit more and stuff. When it comes in the rest, you can have it even just kind of bulge out. Gives us some nice shifts. So now we got that. Now I want to kind of get this hand to kind of wrap around the lens a little bit more. So we're going to grab this lens distort. Okay, we're going to grab another instance of the lens distort. So instead of unchecking it all, we're just going to leave it all the same. Let's go back to frame 60. We're just going to have this kind of wrap around the lens a little bit. So when it's coming in, probably right around here, actually. Let's not do a keyframe right there. So let's bring that back around here, about keyframe right here. Bring it on into 90 or thereabouts. And then we're just going to have that 0 on out. Just kind of give us a little bit of wrap. What I would prefer to do, this isn't something that everyone's going to be able to do, but the fisheye. So Sapphire's got this great fisheye effect, and that's what I would actually put into here. So I would jump on back to frame 60. So we don't want any wrapping or anything. There we go. Bring it to about there. Drop in a keyframe. Actually, let's kind of go on in a little bit. There we go. Maybe a little bit further. Drop in a keyframe, go to 90, and have that 0 out. So what we got is this guy bulging towards the camera. Then it starts settling in. So the fisheye works best for something like that. I would recommend doing something like that. If you know of a way of doing it natively in Resolve here, please share the comment, because I would like to know how to do that. With the lens distort, I haven't been able to get that same effect, obviously, because it's wrapping from the outside of the image, which isn't the same feel that I get with this fisheye. I've tried using warp tools and stuff within Fusion here, and I have not been able to generate the same kind of a look. This is just what I kind of settled on. I've got the Sapphire plugins, obviously, so I just went and kind of cheated and did that. Obviously you can do something a little bit more with this lens distort to kind of get more of a wrap around the lens, to kind of get more distortions and stuff. then that's how I kind of build that. Here at the end, you can go hog wild at this point. You can put in some RGB shifting, another layer of lens distortion would actually be kind of fun. Then the next thing that I would get involved into really getting this dialed in is what's going on here. If you turn on the lighting, let's go ahead and go to our spotlight. Let's go ahead and get this thing dialed in some. There we go. There we go. Bring that on up. Bring this on out a little bit. Just kind of get a little bit of fringing. Okay. Now see how this is like super hot stuff. We're just going to go to material within the image of that cell phone element. Let's go on into specular and bring the intensity, like take it all the way down and bring it up just a little bit so you can kind of see a little bit. So let's go on into lighting. Yeah, so it's just kind of giving us just a little bit of something. Just kind of giving that little feel. I've already done that specular trick with all these other elements and stuff. You can see the intensity of specular is turned way down on those buildings in the background. The text, all these elements. This one we're able to kind of cheat and just had them all going into the same image plane. So there we go. The next step we would do is go on into the render tab. If you go on the spotlight, you can turn on shadows and then go ahead and tweak in the shadows. So let's go to shadows. We're going to turn them way down. You can see that they're like just way too strong. Do something like that. Kind of mess around with these sliders a little bit. This is my spotlight from before. You can see that, I just turned up the minimum softness and stuff. Let's go ahead. Variable, minimum shadow, turned up a little bit. The last thing I would do is go on into your render settings and turn on motion blur. I'm not going to do that because that's just going to like totally bog this down while I'm recording. But I would turn that on and go up to, the highest you can go. I think with my box, I can go up to 5. Thanks a lot for checking out this tutorial. And there's going to be a lot more in-depth, advanced, intermediate tutorials coming up. That's just another little helping for you. Yeah. Every Wednesday, new tutorial. Check them out.